Yes, yes. Welcome along to the Tottenham Concept. This is the first time we're going live tonight, so I'm a little bit nervous, but it's all good. Listen, I'm not expecting a massive crowd because we are brand new, but we'll work on that. As far as I'm concerned, right, when you go live, the gloves come off, and that's it. You can say what you want, do what you want, as long as like you don't go too far, you know. But yeah, like I said, no holds bar. So we'll just crack on. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got a good show planned, so hopefully it all goes to plan. I said plan twice. You know what I'm doing. Same. I'm making mistakes now. You see how fucking nervous I am. I've got I've got two guests with me tonight. One is on the way, but I have one waiting in the wings. Now, they are both good friends of mine. And without further ado, I shall introduce them. Welcome, Danny. How we doing? Not a good start, mate. Not a good start. I like your pretty face. There we go. Hello, Dan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, mate. Same shit, different day. Bloody sweating off in here. And
yes. What is going on with all the heat, mate?
Oh, it was over 35 here today. It's horrible.
Oh, mate, I've been in a vest for 2 days. I feel. Do you know what? I feel.
Mine are in the wash.
Really? Do you know how I feel? Yeah. Right? It's like I feel like a testicle on a sweaty ball sack. Now I know this is probably not the best way to start a live stream for the first time, but you know what I'm saying? Hot, flustered. It's not nice. It's been horrible. But anyway, before we get cracking, I would like to shout out a few people. Yeah, big up Lisa Davis. Honey, thank you so much for messaging. It means the world to me. Ronnie, how we doing, my man? You good? He says, big up COYS. I didn't even read out Lisa's message. This is not a great start. I'll go back to Lisa. She said, evening, Benji and chat. Hope all is good. Bless your heart. Ozzy, my man. Oh, I've seen you in a few streams. Thank you for coming along, pal. He says, big up, Your Honor. Hope all is well. And then Dan, thank you very much for adding to this with his fucking late top man. Lisa Davis again coming in with big up Dan. And we've got Psycho Teacher, my man who's half Japanese and half Brazilian. Am I right in saying that? That is the same guy, the very same. Half Japanese, half Brazilian. I'm sure of it. Psycho, let me know in chat. I'll be interested to know.
I definitely know the Brazilian side.
Yes, indeedy. Okay, so very quickly, tonight we're going to go over a few things. What I wanted to start with was the game today. Now, Dan, did you watch the game today?
I watched. Well, I was busy today doing a few things. I watched the after the game as such, like 5-10 minutes of it, and from what I saw of that, I must admit I didn't think a lot. But it's only a friendly, and honestly, friendlies I couldn't really care less. They're only friendlies.
Fair enough. So what's your initial thoughts on the game that you did see?
We looked established on the ball. We looked like we could pass the ball forwards. Defense didn't look at threat really, apart from a divvy moment. And as soon as we got the ball forward, we looked totally lost and didn't know what to do with it. But that was only through watching about 8 minutes.
Surprisingly accurate. No, look, listen, I actually think we did really well today for the most part. I tell you what, I've watched every preseason game thus far. Big up, Stell's in chat. Hello, mate. I've watched every preseason game so far, and I will say this much: none of them were as compelling as today. I think more so than the other two. What I noticed today was I'm seeing a plan. I'm seeing things starting to come together. Admittedly, the players we had out on the pitch, they weren't too great. Fine, I understand that. It's not the best of the best. I get it. But what I was happy with was the way Spurs were working. Like, for instance, I noticed an emphasis on triangles, first touch, quick passing. Hold on. I'm just going to bring Mia in really quick. Sorry, this is the first time I've done this, so bear with me. Hello, Mia. How are you, honey?
Yeah, not too bad. Just walked the dog.
Awesome. Mia, we were just discussing the game today. I was just saying, I've started to notice with the way Spurs are playing that there's a big emphasis on triangles, first touch passing, one touch passing, bravery in the passes, those sorts of things. I'm starting to see patterns of play that I've not seen at Tottenham for a little while. How did you see the game?
I do agree. I think as well, pressing. I think if you notice that we are pressing up high quite a lot. I think the game, obviously, it's difficult to sort of judge it with the opponents that we're against. But I think that we definitely need some more power up front. But overall, I agree. We're doing really quick passes and 1-2 touches like and getting trying to get up that pitch quickly. And not so much horseshoe. I haven't seen much of that. So yeah, I think overall it's actually it's pretty good because like these not really you can't really tell the players, but I think you can see patterns of play, and I think that's important.
Yeah. So look, moving forward with the game itself, like, is there any sort of players that stood out for you? Any youth players that stood out for you?
No, not really. I think actually none of the Williams Barnett, I think is good, but I don't think he's ready. Although I think he's got something about him, I just don't think he's ready. So whilst I say he's good, I'm not slating him. I just don't think he's ready yet. As good as I think he's been, because he's still a bit selfish. When you watched him today, he made his decision making. Like he was a bit selfish with it.
Okay, no, that's fair. Okay, let me ask you both this. Out of the 3 pre-season games, have either of you seen any youth players that should start to be incorporated into the first team? Has any of them stood out for you?
I haven't watched one of them. Not properly.
Danny, what are you talking about? You haven't watched a single game.
They're only friendlies. They're crap. They really are. Friendlies to me are totally irrelevant. They mean nothing. Why? Because you can say you've got 5 friendlies, you can win 5 friendlies in a row, 3-4, 5-0, and then lose the first 5 games quite easily. Or you can lose the first 5 games and then win 5 games in the league easily. We've seen Tottenham do it before. We've seen other teams do it before. We've also had times like last season where Sarr all of a sudden, yep, he's ready, he's going to be spectacular, and all of a sudden fell to shit because he was good in a couple of friendlies that we played on a training pitch. They're irrelevant to me. They're just training games that are there for money.
So to be clear, you're telling me you've not been excited to see Tottenham early doors at all?
No. Not until league starts. Not for a friendly. No.
What are you talking about? Even with the signings we've made, you're not even remotely interested?
Not on the friendlies, no. They never do. Friendlies to me, they're like the international football. It bores the shit out of me, apart from the World Cup and the Euros, when they play that, what's it called? Where they just basically get the international game teams to play for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. But it's like when England playing that, I just don't watch it. It don't interest me. It's crap. And friendlies are just totally irrelevant. They show you nothing really to what is going to go on in the season.
Well, listen, I might be alone in this, and probably I am. But if you want the absolute truth, I was more excited to see Tottenham's pre-season games than I would be if England got into the final. Am I crazy for saying that, you guys, or is there some sort of level of agreement there?
I follow England, so no, I was obviously I'm going to cheer on England. And although I'm interested in the friendlies, what Dan said, they don't tell you too much. I think it's just nice to see what De Zerbi's plans are for us. And I feel like we are seeing a bit of that come to fruition. And I like to see that. I like to see that he's actually got a bit of a plan with Thomas Frank. You didn't see anything. So I think that part is the part I like.
So
I can get the point.
Go on.
I get your point, but as I say, friendlies, they're just totally irrelevant. They never have interested me. They never will, because it just is what it is with me. I just don't. The friendlies just bore me.
So to be clear, you don't like friendlies. Do you know what? Usually I can understand that, but trying to buying players like Tonali and Fernandez and Van Heck, I just thought you'd be all over that, Danny, to be honest with you, pal. I'm very surprised.
To watch them play for 15 minutes or 20 minutes and then only put about 60% into it as well. Why do I want to watch that?
Because you get to see shiny new players?
No, I'll wait until the start of the season for that. It's only a month off.
God damn. I mean, fair enough. Well, look, as far as I'm concerned, today was compelling enough. I was watching along quite eagerly. There was a few players I would like to talk about, which I have great concerns with. Look, listen, I'm not positive on this. I don't know if you're staying around, but do either of you have an opinion on Kota Takai? Because for me, he is not it and was bought for the wrong reasons. Just out of curiosity, do either of you have an opinion on him?
He's not good
he was
enough.
Bought for money. He was bought for money. Simple as that. He was bought with a hit and hope chance of taking Son's place as such, to bring a community into it, and that is the way I see it. It was a business. It was a business chance they took, and it obviously hasn't gone very well. That's how I portray that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, fair enough. I get it. Mia, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's good enough for sure. I think that what I've seen of him, he's wasteful. I just don't think he's. Yeah, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, for me, what I noticed of him, he's not very fast, is he? For a 22-year-old, I know he's, what is he, 6'4"? I think he's a big old lump, to be fair. He's not overly fast. He's just, I think overall as a defender, he just ain't it. I don't think he's anywhere near Premier League level. And for me, I mean, I personally call him something. I call him Kota on the back of the door. No, what was it? Kota to Kai. Kota on the back of the door on the way out, son. For me, he is a shocking player. I wouldn't have him anywhere near that first team. However, I wanted to bring up one other player, and this one's a big one for me, given the fact that we have so little wingers who are actually fit. If I said to either of you, Manor Solomon is going to stay at the club for next season, how would either of you feel about that?
No chance. I think he's. Do you know what? I think he's got all the gear and no idea. Bit of a Dante in there. I feel like that he does all the stuff right to get there, and then once he gets that opportunity, he fluffs it.
Okay.
I feel like he hasn't got that end product. He's
Do you
quick.
feel he? Go on.
He's quick. He's got a good low centre of gravity. He's good with his feet, but I just don't think he's got it. And we've had him long enough now that we keep sending him out on loan. I just don't think he's it.
Do you not think he would be better on the right than maybe an Odebear?
I mean, I don't think we've seen much of Odebear to sort of judge. I think once when he got into a bit of a flow before he got injured, he was all right, I think, Odebear. And I feel like he's got maybe a bit more about him, where Solomon, he's at that age now. He should be able to finish his dinner. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not a youngster.
Yeah, but Mia, he's our best crosser of the ball, hands down. Tell me another one who can cross the ball better apart from Kudus when he's in it. He's light years more consistent and better than Odebert. Odebert can't cross for shit. Tell's best cross for us was in front of our own bloody goal. Solomon is about the only one we've got who can actually solidly cross a ball from the left-hand side or the right-hand side and genuinely do it.
Look, do you know what? I've got one thing I want to say about somebody like Solomon. When I watch him, right, I'll say this much. I feel like on the ball, he's actually all right. Like, there's been a few times during pre-season where I've sat there and I thought to myself, do you know what? This guy's quite techie. You know, he can beat a man. He's half sensible in that respect. But for me, like the rest of our front line, when he gets into that final third, his decision-making is poor. Danny's got a point. He can cross the ball. You know, his low, hard crosses are actually quite effective. But in terms of his general decision-making going forward, for me, that's what stunts him completely. You know, I mean, his runs are pretty decent, but go on.
He should have been gone a while back, because even if he was a quality player, he's never going to make it at Spurs, and that's purely down to a political reason. Nothing more, nothing less.
No, that's fair. I understand that. So overall, you guys would rather have Odebear or Solomon? Who are we going with out of these two?
I'd have Solomon out of them two. I'd have Solomon because he can actually cross a ball. Same as I'd probably play Solomon. I'd probably play Solomon on the left over Tell if I want someone to cross the ball in, because he is the only one that can do it.
No, you're right, Mia.
I still just think that although he can cross the ball, I don't think anything's come of it. So I still don't think that he is it. So I think you've got more chance of Odebert being coached to be better than for him to actually be able to have final product like Solomon.
But if nothing comes off the end of it, if the cross is all right, but nothing comes off the end of it, whose fault is that?
But what I mean, Dan, is he don't always cross well. Like I think he's a bit. Although he can cross, his crosses aren't always all that. I actually think
always.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So if they don't come off always, him being able to cross the ball is only okay. Is only worth it is if he completes the cross and it's actually going to get to the man that he wants it to get to, right?
I get your point, but then tell me when Tell's done it, apart from in front of our own goal, which was his best cross. He don't. He's terrible at crossing the bloody ball, apart from in front of our own goal. And Odobert, terrible at crossing the ball. I mean, Odobert even struggles to drill it across the goal, for God's sake, which is probably the most simple one. I'm not saying I'll rate Solomon in any means or manner, yeah. But
yeah, no, I know you don't.
At the moment of what we have got, I would say if I want someone who can cross that ball in there, I'll be starting Solomon over Tell and over Odobert. Personally, I'd rather he's gone along with a pair of them.
This is the problem. We're even having this discussion, Dan. This for me is one of the biggest problems. Why is this even something that is a discussion? Like, we shouldn't be looking or having players like Solomon as backup players. Like, what's going on? You know, so when people say to me, oh, we need like, you know, one or two, a left winger or a striker. No, I think we need more than that. Because realistically, if we do bring in a left winger, we do bring in a striker. Tell is our backup on the left, and Odobert is most likely going to be the backup on the right. That, for me, is batshit crazy. Like, that, the golfing quality should, again, we get a half-decent left winger, you know, and you know, Kudus on the right. The golfing quality from Kudus down to an Odobert, it's night and day. Like,
I do think, though, that we're going to get someone who plays across the front three. I don't think we're going to get an out-and-out striker. That's what I think.
You're saying play with a false nine, basically?
Possibly, yeah. Or so, and I think because when you've the ones that we've been linked with, some of the players we've been linked with, they're not really out-and-out strikers, right? Although Krupi's obviously now a no-go, probably with his being out for 3 months. But yeah, we've been linked with more players that are, like I say, play across the front three.
Yeah. You know, I mean, to be fair, Psycho Teacher said it here. You know, our forwards, they can't dribble, they can't cross, they can't score. Can they run? They can barely fucking do that, to be fair. You know, look, it's definitely an area of the pitch that I, like many of you, are seriously concerned with. But we will get into that. Listen, I do want to move on. Let's get into what the title of the show is. Are Spurs ready to go to war? Now, listen, we can go a million different directions with this. Future signings, who we think is going to come in. You could go with, you know, what sort of shape is our defence in, and by that I mean things like, is Van Heck better than Romero? That's a conversation I'd like to have, definitely. Our midfield, how are they going to hold up to throw this out there? You've got players like Fernandez and Tonali that are both very similar. Sometimes that doesn't always work. So I wonder, in a Premier League environment, can those two get something going? You know, and also, nobody else, none of us are aware of exactly how De Zerbi wants, what he wants from a striker. You know, I want to question what sort of striker he wants to bring in. But look, I'll start with signings, guys, and I'm going to be really blunt and blatant. I am getting fucking annoyed, if I'm honest with you. Okay, I've heard Savinho for nigh on 2 seasons now. I'm sick of that. You know, I'd love Savinho at the club, but it's just constant. He's throwing in transfer requests. He's not. He's happy. He's not. Do you guys think Savinho is even going to turn up at any point, or do you think it's just hearsay?
No, I think that one's pretty much done. Basically, just is taking time to go through. If we were still fighting for him, basically, then I would have said we should have given that up a long time ago and gone towards someone else. Like, there you go. There's your offer. You got 3-4 days to accept it or leave it. Okay, you don't accept it. Right, fuck off, and we go to the next one. Again, like a real big club does. Or maybe we offer them a little bit more if we're that desperate for it. But you don't let this prolong for a year and a half, basically.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I have seen today, though, guys. I have seen that Man City have now come out and said, because of the state of the transfer market, they want 80 million for Savinho. What do you make of that?
They can swivel for that amount, considering that he hasn't, like, he didn't do anything this season, like the season just gone. The season before he did more, but I still don't think he's proved himself regularly in the Premier League to say that he's worth that amount of money.
Now, if we're going to go, go on, Dan, go on, you go.
If we're going to go and pay that much, then I feel for less we'd go and get a player that I really don't like the prick in any means or manner. But we go and get Rashford for around about 30-40 million, and then the other 30 million can go on his bloody wages. I'd say Rashford would be more of the player we need at Spurs in the aspect I can't stand his attitude, personality, the way he comes across and everything. He's as bad as Romero, but one in, one out, if you get what I mean. At the end of the day, we need someone who's going to score goals. Raphael ain't going to come to us now because we've let that one go and he's now in Turkey, if I remember right. So we need someone who is a proven goal scorer. And one thing Rashford is, even though he is patchy as, he can still get you 15 goals in the season. And if we basically put it on him and make him one of the main player up front. And do you know what? I think you could even get away with playing Rashford as a 9, if I'm going to be honest, especially compared to the bullshit we've got up there. So I would say Rashford would be the more logical, sensible one to go for instead of paying 80 million for Savinho and then his wages, sign-on fee and everything else. So you're looking at around about, I don't know, 150 million deal altogether. Just random number, but roundabout, yeah. I'd rather go and pay it because Man U are desperate to get rid of him, basically. No one else is going for him because they can't afford the bloody wages. So do you know what? Fuck it. There you go. There's a 3-year contract for you, mate. There's 30 million to Man U. I reckon they'd accept that personally because they definitely want him out and it'd be a big thing off their back with the wages as well. There you go. There's 30 million in, 40 million in wages for the next 3 years and take it from there. He's established in the Premier League. He's done it in the Premier League. Can't stand the prick in any means or manner. If anything, I dislike him more than Romero, but I think he would get the job done. Significantly better than anything we've got.
Mia, what's your thoughts on Rashford? I'd like to hear this before I have my part.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with anything that Dan said, to be honest with you. I feel exactly the same about him. I'm not a big fan of his at all, but I think that he will get the job done. He's proven as well. So I think
see you next Tuesday, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he is 100. He's got a face only his mother can love. So like, yeah, no, I think although that's obviously true, I think that he will get the job done, and we know he will. With Savinho, it's all buts and maybes again. So I would much rather get somebody who's established, and if we are going to then use Tell, we can bring him on, and then he's got somebody like Rashford to look up to. Savinho and him around the same age, and he's
English and homegrown as well. That's the little bit that comes on the side of it. And for getting a homegrown English player like that for 30 million, that's tuppence money.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Even though, like I said, I'm not his biggest fan, I do think that
I'm not.
He can be a bit lazy as well. But I think that with someone like De Zerbi, I wonder if like sometimes you get a bit too comfortable somewhere and you become a bit more arrogant because you get away with it because of who you are in that club. Complacent, that's the word. But I think with De Zerbi, I don't think he's going to be complacent because it's somewhere completely new, a new manager. So I wonder, because he did go to Barca and he did all right there.
Yeah, I do think the attitude he's got though, and this is the bit where I'd be sceptical of it, he'd come to Spurs and do a Romero and think he's bigger than Spurs basically, because he has got his head so far stuck up his own arse he can smell yesterday's dinner. But I still think he would come to Spurs and there's more of a chance that you get 15 goals in the season with a couple of assists out of him than you do Savinho, because Savinho has done nothing to prove to me that he can do this in the Premier League. It's all good going to, where is it? He went, not Girona. Was it Girona? No.
Yes, it was Girona. Yep
yeah, Girona. Right. I keep getting mixed up with Girona and Genoa from Italy. I always get them two mixed up. Yeah, he went to Girona and well done. He done well in the Spanish league, which we all know, apart from 3 teams in there, are pretty... he's worse than the Premier League. You know, apart from Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and Real Madrid, who is there that is established in? You know, it's like when you go to a lot of other leagues, apart from the 2 top teams in there, there's never usually anything special in the league. It's like the Premier League, the bottom club. Say, for instance, West Ham are at the bottom and still in the league, yeah, and they go and beat Arsenal 3-0. People are raising eyebrow, but they'll be like, "Shit happens. It's the Premier League." You go over to somewhere like Germany and the team that was like St. Pauli, which most people have never heard of, goes and beats Bayern Munich. There's an absolute meltdown over it because it just doesn't happen. So again, I can't really judge him on that. In the Premier League, how many games he had? About 50, 60? About 50 games?
Along them lines, yeah.
And he's done nothing except prove he can dribble with the ball.
Hold on.
Tell has got a better GA than he has.
Can we rewind for a minute? So to be clear, both of you would love Rashford at the. You both take Rashford at the club.
No, we didn't say we'd love Rashford. We said we would
Right.
accept Rashford over Savinho because of his ability to actually get the job done, because we know he's proven where Savinho isn't proven.
That's fine. And could you explain to me why you think someone like Marcus Rashford would come to a club like Spurs and get things done? Marcus Rashford. Like, guys, I'm sorry. Right? No, hold on. I respect both of your opinions. But Marcus Rashford, yes, he went to Barcelona, one of the best teams in Spain, and did okay. But look what he was doing at Man United before that. You're telling me you think he would work out at Spurs? I wouldn't touch Marcus Rashford with a barge pole. I don't know what you guys.
He's done more in the Premier League than Savinho has.
Yeah, we're talking a fair few years ago, mate. What was? I was looking up just a minute ago. His last thing for Man United, right, was I think he played like 46 games all in all and scored 7 goals and 3 assists. Most of the time he was a striker.
Can be a patchy player for sure. I've said that. But again, even if he scored 6 or 7 in the season, that's more than Savinho's done.
Wow. Sassy bitch. Okay, all right, fair enough. I will give you that. But you can't deny in terms of player quality, Savinho's head and shoulders, right?
No, you're talking about player potential now. Savinho, he's proven.
No, Dan, no, I'm not. I'm talking about overall quality.
Well, overall quality, then what have I seen off Savinho that is overall quality? He's better than what we've got, so I'll take him all day long. But if you go overall quality, I've seen him been able to dribble with a ball, take a man on, get past a man. I see fuck all goals and I see fuck all crosses and I see jack shit passes. So again, that's no different to Bergville in his extent, that when he gets the ball, he's very good at running up the other end of the pitch with it, and then don't pass, don't cross, don't shoot, don't do nothing. Savinho, I'm not saying he's on the same level as Bergville, not at all, and he's significantly better than what we've got, I think. But what do you see at the end of him? Nothing in the Premier League anyway.
I won't lie to you.
Rashford, I've seen him score 15 goals plus in a season and have a GA of about 22, 23. More than once.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you. Then I'm alone here because I wouldn't go anywhere near Rashford. I think just his mentality alone.
But do you know, I understand that, because that's why I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. But if you put Savinho and Rashford in front of me and said I had to pick one, I would always pick the one that we know has proven it, and that is Rashford. We know he has proven it. And like I just said, he might have got complacent at Man United. That might be part, although he has got an attitude. But the fact is that he is proven. We don't know, like I said, it's if, buts and maybes with Savinho, and we ain't got time for that. If we want to do better, we haven't got time for if, buts and maybes.
Time for it, yeah. I think we've got depending how much we spend, I think we've got that little bit of time. But with what we've already spent, and if we go and spend, say, another 100 million to 150 million, if we did, which we should do with players that we can still sell and have sold and that, yeah, people are now expecting a top 6 finish and whatever and that. And again, Savinho hasn't done nothing as an end product. That's the only thing with it. Okay, people are going to say that he hasn't had a fair, consistent run, whatever else. I get all that. And like Mia said, where I agree with her, she agrees with me, the fella is a proper top prick. And I think he lost out on his Man U career because of his personality more than his actual skills. And it's shown that if I'm doing what I think is where I need a goal scorer, I'm going to the man that I know that can do it, not the man that I think could possibly do it for less.
So when we discuss him, where would you guys play? Like, just because obviously my argument is gonna depend on what you say. When you say Marcus Rashford, where exactly would you play him out of curiosity? Are you thinking on the left or a striker?
Inside forward on the left.
Mia?
Yeah, same.
And then use Kudus on the wide on the right to cross the ball central and cross the ball far over as well, with Rashford cutting into it.
Oh shit! I must be crazy then, because I would take Savinho all day over Rashford, and I'm basing that on his last 3 seasons. Number one, and number two, first and foremost, more than anything else, what he does in a game, what he contributes to a team in a game. He's so much better than Rashford. Again,
what does he contribute? If you're going by the last 3 seasons, right? If we do the same for Rashford and for him, who has produced more? it will always be Rashford, right? Because Rashford's the one that does actually. Because we think about Savinho, he's been at City, had one season that was half decent. Last season, he didn't really get much of a chance. He was played out of his position, I get it. But the fact is, he still didn't take his opportunity when he got a chance to actually prove himself. So what has he actually proved to you? Because I can't see that he's proved anything to anybody, in my opinion.
So the argument I have with people is GA. A lot of people, thank you, Lisa. A lot of people, have the argument of GA, which is fine. But when I look at Savinho, I saw Genoa. I saw the first season at Manchester City. I know he only got 1 goal, but he got 10 assists. For me, that's for a first season in a new country, in a new club. For me, that's quite impressive, right? But it's not just that. Like, people are obsessed with GA and this, that, and the other. When I'm old school, I watch players for what they are. And when I look at someone like Savinho, he's one hell of a player. That there ain't a great deal this guy can't do. He can ghost 2 or 3 people, no problem. His defensive work rate is very, very fucking, I think is quite good, personally. I know he's a little lad, but I think his defensive work rate's pretty damn good. Whereas, again, a Rashford offers you nothing there. He's a lazy son of a bitch. I think he's more creative than Rashford. There aren't, aside from flat out goals when it comes to Rashford and Savinho, I understand the argument, but there is context to this. You've got to think how City have played him.
I'd say Savinho is the better overall player. Yeah, I'm not disputing that in any means or manner. Right. And if you look at Rashford seasons, he is patchy as. But again, he's actually proven that he can score goals, whereas Savinho hasn't done it yet.
The way
especially for like 80 million or 60 million, whatever it was.
Yeah,
the thing is, the way I'd put it, Benji, right? It's like having the finest of china, having a beautiful fine china cup that's worth loads of money, and then having a hole at the bottom of it. It looks pretty, it's lovely, but it's bloody useless. You can't put no tea in it. And that's what Savinho is.
Don't laugh at that, Danny. Don't laugh at that, mate. No,
I think Savinho could be a very good player.
He's a top-tier player.
No, I'm
not saying that he's not a good player.
What has he done to establish that he's a top tier player? Now, I can sit here and agree with everybody and say I'll take him at Spurs because he's better than what we've got. But what has established him to be a top tier player? Does he even get in the international team?
Son of a bitch, I don't know. Does he?
I don't think he does.
Surely he gets into the international team. Well, look, regardless, I'm not going to base it off something like that because, I mean, Jesus Christ, look at Raya from Arsenal, got into the international team and wasn't the first goalkeeper, the first choice goalkeeper. The one they chose, I think, finished like 19th in the league and had, a very small amount of clean sheets compared to someone like Raya, winning the Premier League and had the most clean sheet, won the Golden Glove in the Premier League, so things like that. And the international stuff doesn't bother me too much. But what I'm basing this off of is watching the guy. The guy is absolute mustard. I don't understand how. Oh, he didn't go to World Cup. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Again, I find that a bit strange. Yeah, look, I'm basing it off 2 seasons of respectable GA. I'm basing it off. Look, with last season, for me, with Savinho last season, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't want to be at Manchester City. He was stopped from leaving. You're not going to be at your best. I mean, for fuck's sake, guys. The geezer was played at right wing and centre mid. Savinho is a left winger. That's where he thrives. That's where he's done his best work. Where he played at Girona, and then look what he was capable of there. It's unreal. The guy is super ambidextrous, so he can go down the line. He can cut in. You couldn't say the same for Rashford. Look, for me, it's night and day. Night and day. I understand there is an issue with GA. Fine. I just think at Spurs, the geezer would absolutely cook. And when you tell me it, so just to be clear, you'd both take Rashford over Savinho.
Yeah, I would. Same as I took Raphael over him as well. And that is purely going by what I've seen, capability of goal scoring, basically.
Okay,
because that's what we need up front. That's what we need up front. We need goals. Because that is one thing this team doesn't really have in it. And that's one people keep saying, that our front three of that shit, they don't score goals consistently. Rashford don't score goals consistently. Patchy has, but still scores goals significantly more than Savinho has proved he can. But I do think Savinho is the better player. But I want goals, and people say we haven't got time, and people say that we need this done now. I think Rashford's your better chance to get the goals in there. If that's just what I'm looking for.
No. So you think, okay, fair enough. So what you're both saying is you feel like Rashford would be less of a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the thing is, it depends. Like with risk, what I mean by risk is that we know that Rashford can score. With Savinho, we've not seen it consistently enough to know that he will.
You're killing me, you guys. You are absolutely killing me. Okay, fine, whatever. Bollocks to Savinho then. Look, I hear what you're saying. But for me, yeah, it's so clear. I would go Savinho all day long. But fair enough. I'm not going to argue with you. I don't know if you guys have heard, but I want to move on to our striker position. Have you heard about Krupi today? We dodged the bullet there just a little bit. The guy is out for 4 months with a metatarsal injury. Imagine what would have happened if he turned up to Spurs and busted his metatarsal at Tottenham. It would have been pandemonium. It would have been very.
Or it just wouldn't have happened because he wouldn't have been playing the same game that he'd done it in, or the same training session. So maybe if Spurs would have moved quicker and got the job done that they so-called wanted to got job done, maybe the player wouldn't even be in this predicament. We don't know.
Fine, but he's not worth 90 million. Despite him being a very good little player, he's not worth 90 million. So if I'm honest with you, I hear what you're saying, but I wouldn't have gone anywhere near him for that amount of money.
Was Fernandes worth 85? Was Tonali worth 100? It's just the prices, mate. No, I don't agree with him being 90 million and buying him either over one pretty good season and him being so young, but it's the prices now, isn't it?
Hey, look, all I'm trying to say is at 90 million, putting that on the shoulders of a 19-year-old boy and expecting him to hit the ground running, I don't think that's something that should be done personally. But look, the fact remains, the guy is out. He's busted his metatarsal. It's pretty much over for him. I wanted to ask you guys, seeing as that option's out the window, not that I ever thought it was a real option, but seeing as it's out the window, my question to you is, and this is both, who would you go? Who do you think is a realistic target for Tottenham up front at number 9? Who, if we had a magic wand and it was a realistic target, who would you go for? For me, I'll say mine real quick. For me, I take Pavlidis all day long because he's a perfect example of, at least what I think, a great De Zerbi sort of number 9. He's great at sort of playing back as centre forward. He can play number 9 out and out. He's a really good, solid striker. He's just coming to his prime. He's 27 years of age. But again, that's just someone who I'd go with. I don't think it'd be stupid money. But yeah, if you had a magic wand, Dan, who would you be going for right now?
Osimhen.
Do you think that's possible?
Well, if we're willing to spend 80 million on or 90 million or whatever on someone like Krupski or on Savinho or whatever, it's another one. He's established. He can score goals. We all do know that. Okay, he might be in the Turkish league at the moment.
Yes, he is. Galatasaray, I think.
Yeah, but he is a goal scorer. He is a player, and yes, we just have to pay the wages for him. And we've already proven we can do that. Yes, he's on significantly higher wages, but if you go and give him a bigger sign-on fee, maybe that would cut his wages down. Would he be willing to come to the best league in the world to actually establish a bit of a name for himself as well, apart from playing in Turkey? I think the player, he comes across like a bit of a mercenary, basically. So I reckon he's one of them ones, offer him enough money and you get what you want.
Yeah, that's
We've already proved that happens.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You put that money on the table.
Money does talk.
It does talk. And me and you have been saying this for a while now. Okay, so look, let's look at a price for him. So I know he went to Galatasaray for about 75 million. So you would expect they would want in the ballpark of 100, right? But again, and you mentioned it yourself, do you not think with the wages, I think he's on like 3,500,000 a week.
That's not
Do
different
you-
off Tonali.
Mm,
What's Tonali on 310, isn't it? It's ain't like that.
no,
I've
he's
read.
on 275, I think, Tonali.
Okay.
If you
Oh,
can
it's
believe
probably
the
in
reports.
euro. It was probably in euros that I read it then. But either way, if then you just give him that much of a better signing on fee.
I mean, do you think there's a possibility if he came to the Premier League, because of the fact he's coming to the Premier League, do you think he would possibly drop those wages? Like,
If you give him
in and
them wages
around?
back on, well, put it this way, yeah. If I want 300 grand a week and I'm not accepting less, but you then go and offer me 200 grand a week, but then
Yeah.
make up for that extra money over the next couple of years with just money signing on fee, why
Yeah.
not?
And so you think it's a realistic target?
I think it's worth a go. If you don't try, you don't get. And I think we've already proved that at Spurs, that if you do try
I
it, you
agree.
can get. You know, it's not going to win every time, but we're willing to pay more wages now. We've put the money out there, and money talks at the end of the day. And if you don't try, how do you know? You got to at least try.
Okay. How do you feel about this statement? If we were to go and get someone like an Osimhen, right? Do you feel that would be the closest thing to a world-class striker we'd be able to get right now? For me, it would be. I rate him very, very highly. I'm not saying he's world-class, but in terms of who I think would be available for us, I would say he'd be the closest thing to a world-class striker. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, personally, yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
the
numbers
other
don't
one-
lie.
No, I mean, the other one I would have a look at personally is Marcus Thuram from Inter. I don't think he's unsellable. I know he likes it there, but we do know what he's like in Italy with money and that. I don't think Inter might necessarily want to sell him. But again, you go and put 60, 70 million down there, I think you stand a chance of getting him.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Mia, if you had that magic wand, who would you go for?
I think I'd get Mamouche. I really like him as a player, and he can obviously play different position as well. Like, he doesn't have to just play up front, although it's not his preferred position. I think he's good enough. I know that he hasn't really had too much of a chance at City, but I do think that he has got something about him. I really do. And I think he's gettable. I mean, like, obviously, if we're not going to get, I would rather have gone for him and pushed for him than Savinho, because I think that's a better option. I feel like that getting somebody like him who doesn't get a lot of time, because obviously he's got Haaland in front of him, and got loads of attacking options there. So I feel like you could possibly persuade him.
It's funny, actually, talking about Marmouche. Do you guys remember a striker of ours? Good old Mido. Do you remember Mido?
Yep.
Yep.
So a couple of years ago, it's funny, I remember reading an article. Mido had come out and was begging Spurs to go and sign Marmouche. There's no getting away from it. He's a fantastic player, without doubt. And he's very much in the same sort of category as Pavlidis. He's a bit of a utility player. He can play more than one position, which is great. Whereas Dan's option, and to be fair to Dan, I you know what, I definitely wouldn't say no to Osimhen, because wow, but he is an out-and-out number 9. The thing is here, do you think, bless your heart, I am desperate to wet my lips. Thank you so much. Do you think that Spurs will be playing with an out-and-out number 9 this season?
Well, we've already got 2 of them now. You know,
It's true, but do you think that's what Robert does? Do you think that's what Roberto wants, though? Do you think that's how he wants to play with an out-and-out number 9?
Well, if he doesn't, then he should be selling Solanke and Richarlison.
I mean, that's another conversation entirely. I mean, you got to have buyers for that sort of problem.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a waste of space. And I think you could sell both of them. You just have to take a severe cut on the finances. They're players that you would have to sell for a significant loss. I mean, are you getting more than 10, 15 mil for Richarlison? I would be gobsmacked if you do. Solanke, I think he's one we could sell for maybe 25 mil.
I would be surprised if we didn't pay someone to take Richarlison. That's where I'm at with him. He might be. Go on.
I'll give him away. If I could, but
I'd drive him there myself.
You know what I mean? But I think we could get 10 mil for him from somewhere, basically, whether we ship him off to Saudi Arabia or wherever else. I know he doesn't want to leave Spurs, But that's then when you got to try and push the player out. Well, you ain't in my first team choice, so I ain't even going to pick you in the squad. Then sit down and do fuck all. And do you know what? On top of that, mate, I really don't care about you because you're only a player. Not that you'd say it like that as a manager, but I really don't care about your personal feelings. You're now training with the youth academy all the time. And that's how you push a player out. And Richarlison's got too much of a attitude on him, same as any player should do really in that situation, but he's got too much pride for some strange reason. He might try and fight to get a place there, but he wouldn't put up with not being put in the first team and only training with the youth and that. He's got the attitude, which isn't a bad attitude, of actually wanting to play football. He wouldn't be able to just not even be picked in the team and just sit there and get his money. I don't think Richarlison is actually that much of a mercenary, if I'm going to be honest. I think he's actually got a bit of pride in himself. Not that I think he's any good.
No, I know
his
what
mentality,
you're trying to say.
I don't think he's actually got a bad mentality for the game, apart from that he dives in friendlies and stuff like that, and he's just shit. But I don't actually think he's got the wrong mentality.
Oh, God.
Only on the mentality side. I don't think he's got the wrong
right.
mentality. He just hasn't got the capability. He just hasn't got the capability. Like when you see a player who's got all the capability, but he ain't got the mentality, so they're just as crap, basically.
Yeah.
He hasn't got the capability, but I think he has actually got the right mentality.
Okay, that's fair, I suppose. And I say that with gritted teeth. You are right. There have been a few players in history that you wouldn't mind having his mentality, that's for sure. I can think of one Ndombele. That would have been nice if he had a similar sort of mentality.
Listen, if Ndombele had the attitude of Richarlison, he would have been an outstanding player. Let's just say that much.
Yep.
Okay, how about this? I'll come at you if we're going to have a very quick word on him. Ndombele, the biggest waste of talent in Tottenham's history?
One of.
Definitely one of, 100%.
There was a thing that came out a few years ago from Gareth Bale. It was an interview, funny enough, and he did mention, I think in the interview, he was asked, what player has blown you away in training the most? And he turned around and said, this was based at any club, and he turned around and said, Ndombele, the thing that kid could do with a ball is absolutely outstanding. What a terrible, terrible, terrible waste. But look,
to put it blunt,
to
put it blunt, he got fat and lazy. Simple as that. He was more bothered about ordering bloody McDonald's and having a bit of fun off the pitch than he was about on the pitch. Maybe the money went to his head. Maybe he was just simple. Maybe it was whatever and that. Yeah, but he didn't have the right mentality for it. And I know some players are lazy. Some players can be. A goal scorer can be lazy. A striker can be the laziest man on the pitch. Same as a goal scorer. Same as a goalkeeper. They just have to be there for that specific moment. Whereas the rest of the team is meant to play for at least 80 minutes of a game sort of thing and give it their all 90 minutes of a game as such. Whereas a striker, he can just literally evaporate for the whole game, but as long as he's there to put it in the back of the net, nobody cares. Same as a goalkeeper. And Ndombele, he was just one lazy prick. And he got fat and he got lazy. Simple as that.
Yeah. And at the time,
the mentality.
Oh, for sure. At the time, I do remember, and I wonder if either of you thought this yourselves. I remember when he didn't work out, I sat and thought, well, Levy's not going to spend money anytime soon. You know, not big money like that. Because what was he, 65 million, I think we spent on Ndombele? As soon as I see him
50 something, I think it was in English money. In English money.
Okay, fair enough. No, as soon as I see him flop and turn out the way he did, I just sat back and thought to myself, it's going to be a while before we spend that sort of money because, you know, with Levy, he wasn't exactly, you know, captain flash the cash, was he? So, but look, going back to strikers ever so quickly, somebody just then, Wayne Holland mentioned Ramos at PSG, and Dan List is right. He has gone to AC Milan, I believe. Am I right in saying that? Gonzalo Ramos from PSG. Gonzalo Ramos from PSG.
Yeah. I think he went AC. He's another player that I don't think would have been a bad idea for us to go for. And I think we stood more chance of getting him over AC Milan because we're bigger than AC Milan. Now we are, technically.
Well, 100%. I've got a name for you guys. And look, listen, I'm not saying it's right. When I say this, I'm not saying this is like a main number 9, but he's definitely the type of player that I'd like at the club. Do you guys rate, is it Balogun, the ex-Arsenal player who's playing over in where is he playing now? Eredivisie or He's playing somewhere. But do you know who I'm speaking about? The the extra guy. What are your thoughts on him? Like for me personally, in an ideal world, I'd get rid of Solanke and Richarlison and bring in a top tier number 9, and I'd love Balogun as backup. Like for me, I think he would really suit De Zerbi's style. Do you guys think much of Balogun or no?
Well,
I don't know enough of him.
Yeah, I don't know loads, but what I have worked out, I think that, like I said before, I think that at the end of the day, we don't need someone who's just going to be a backup. Like I feel like there's levels. Like we don't want that level. We want the next tier up if we're going to get somebody for the front three. So for now, it's a no from me.
Fair enough. It was a shame you guys don't know much about him because, to be fair, he's. Do you know? I don't know if this would be too far, but not the same level of finishing, but the way he plays is a bit reminiscent to Defoe. You know, he's that sharp sort of striker that's always on the shoulder. And for me, I don't feel, and he's got quite a lot of pace as well. I don't feel like we've got that right now. We don't have a pacey striker. We don't have someone that's always on the shoulder. Balogun, to be fair, and again, if you're not 100% sure what I'm talking about, he's the guy that Donald Trump sort of had that red card revoked from him. Look, again, I think that would improve our front line over what we've got already. But Dan, you've said Oshiman. Mia, you've said Marmoush. You know what? Ever so quickly, I wanted to ask, do you guys think Marmoush would be obtainable or no? Because he's not got a crazy amount of playing time. And Dan, you're right in what you said. He's behind Haaland and he's behind, is it Doku on the left? So, I mean, he's kind of a bit part player at this point, no?
Again, it's another one. It's another one I'm not 100% sure about. I haven't seen as much of him as other people.
Mia?
Yeah, I think he could be gettable. Like I said earlier, I think that at the end of the day, he doesn't get to play very much, and we can offer him time. If we can say to him, "You can come and play for us," and you will get time, I think that could persuade him, because anyone who wants to be serious about their football will want to play and not just be benched playing here and there. We don't know though, because obviously there's a different manager, so there might be a change. Maybe we will get more time, so you can't really say, but I think you could test the waters with it, 100%.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't see why not. Like you said, if you throw the money down, see what happens, I suppose. There's another one here, Wayne Holland again. He says, what about Delap? Now, I'm going to be very honest with both of you. At Ipswich, he was very, very respectable. However, I've not seen a great deal of him at Chelsea, but I have seen Chelsea fans talk about him, and they fucking hate the guy. As far as Chelsea fans are concerned, Delap is Chelsea's Richarlison. Thoughts on Delap?
Look at what Chelsea have had, though. Chelsea, in strikers they've had over years, leap years ahead of anything we've had for a very, very long time, except Kane. Yeah, but if you add them all up together, Chelsea have had some. Chelsea are used to having established good players.
For sure.
Whether it was right, wrong, whatever way to do it, they were used to having big. I just don't think they like him at all there, and he hasn't exactly done the job at Chelsea either. Would he be better than what we've got? Can you get worse? I think is the better question. I think if you go and get Delap, you're then comparing Delap, Richie, and Solanke, not to who's better, but to who's shitter.
Okay, fair enough. Mia, have you got a take on Delap?
Waste of money. I wouldn't waste my money on him. I feel like it would just be a waste. I feel like there's better ones out there that we can get that would be, so much better than him. I just don't think he's got it.
Do you know what? If I'm brutally honest, did he play many minutes last season? Or I don't remember hearing anything about Delap last season. Let's have a look here. So Delap for Chelsea played, oh my goodness. This is Randall Kolo Mawani settings. So Delap in the league played 28 games and scored 1 goal.
There you go. So why do you want to get that? Like you go and get Solanke. Solanke, okay, he'd had a season before where he scored 20 goals, but it's the only time he ever done it. He was in a team that won the bloody league and he scored a goal, for God's sake, out of how many appearances.
Right.
He's not a good
Right.
player, but we went and paid 65 million for him, basically.
Yeah, and
You know,
even at Ipswich, he wasn't all that. Like, I just looked up his stats from his season, like at Chelsea and his one at Ipswich, and he wasn't even outstanding then.
you know
he was
what?
good, but he weren't outstanding.
Going with someone like Delap, in my opinion, you're just going from shit to shit, basically. I'd stick with Richarlison and Solanke because I don't think you're going to get nothing. So if Delap is the only option I've got, I'd stay with Richarlison and Solanke and go spend extra money on the left and right.
You know what?
I don't think there is no point. Even Solanke has proven that he can score more goals in a season than Delap, and that's going some.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so was Richie, I think.
I'm sure he had a very, very respectable season at Ipswich. I mean, look, he played 37 games for Ipswich and scored 12 goals in his first outing in the Premier League. It's not terrible, especially for his first season.
I get where you're coming from, but again, we're talking about that we want to be this big club and act like a big club and everything else. So we go and get Delap, really.
No, fair enough.
Again, in that aspect, I would rather just stick with fucking. I'd rather just stick with Solanke and Richarlison. What is the point? Unless I can go and sell Solanke for say 30, 40 million, which would get me Delap, then okay, maybe I'll take that chance. But I don't see the point. I really just don't see the point in the hassle. You might as well stick with what you got when it comes to that one, as far as I'm concerned.
No, fair enough. I can get on board with that. So another question is this: Are you guys nervous about bringing in signings? I mean, I won't lie to you. It's gone quiet at Tottenham Hotspurs. It's gone real quiet, and it's made me nervous. How are you guys feeling about bringing in sort of a new left winger and striker? Do you think it is actually going to happen, or do you think there is a remote possibility that we go into the season with what we've got, or are you both convinced we will bring someone in?
I think we will bring two people. I think we'll bring two players in, but I feel like we've got to get so much out. I think that's where the issue lies, because at the end of the day, our squad is ridiculously bloated and we can't keep adding to it without taking some away, because it's just, it's crazy. So I think that's what's going on. To me, we should do it a bit like X Factor style. We should say, you step forward. You're out of here. You're not going to be put into the squad. Go and find yourself another team. Off you trot. Like, I think that we need to be doing that. But I think that we've got so many players now that we need to get rid of some, because we brought in those players very quickly and hadn't got rid of any, and we still got, like I say, plenty to go.
I mean, they're all players we can get rid of, basically. And yes, Peter, probably if we go and buy the players first, whatever, it would take the price off some of the players when we do sell them, because people know we are desperate to get rid of them, so it takes another 10% off. But Spurs can deal with that. They got the money to deal with that, and the fact that we're not in Europe means we can spend more money. Is quite mad how it works out on there.
Right, so if you're in Europe, it's 75%, and if of your earnings, and if you're out of Europe, 85%.
I don't even think it's 75. I think it's something like 70. And that 5% is a massive load of money, basically. I mean, Villa are right up shit street because they've just, 95% or something they've done? Or something along those lines. I don't know the exact numbers, but if we're going to do it, then do it bloody properly. But then, like I've said, if we can't find a striker, like a solid striker to take that place as such, then with the money that I would have spent on that striker, me personally, I would have done this before, but I can't get my striker. I'm now going back and sticking 40, 50 million on an established goalkeeper.
Oh, God. Okay, we're going back to this again. Right, okay, go on.
That's just what I do. If I can't get that player to take the place that I specifically need, and the striker, I do think we are going to struggle on getting, because it is the hardest place to fill up now because there's lack of them. We still go and get our left winger. Say we get Savinho in, fine, 60, 70 million. and we still would have had 80 million, 50 million, whatever we do willing to spend left for a striker. Instead of going and doing some fucking stupid hit and hope thing like Dilap or whatever, yeah, I'd rather just say bollocks, I'll stick with Solanke and Richie and go and get myself a proven, established goalkeeper, which is going to save me 10 to 15 points in a season that maybe those strikers ain't going to get me, if you know what I mean.
For sure. Yeah, no, I understand that. Mia, how are you feeling about the situation? Are you nervous about bringing in new players? Do you feel like we're going to be able to before, the window shuts? I know we've got a long way to go, but where it's gone so quiet, are you nervous at all, or are you quite confident we're going to bring in someone or a couple of people?
Yeah, no, I'm quite sure that we will. I really am. I just think it's a case of getting players out. If I'm honest, I just don't think there's. I think there's no room. I think there's no room at the inn. I feel like that we have to get some of them out, and that's all that's holding us up. I feel like that we have got the Savinho thing in the pipeline. I think that is going to get done, and I think that we're just waiting. I think we are just waiting as well to get some of these other players out, which, like Dan said, they are all sellable. Like Sarr, sellable. Richie, as I said, you've got to just tell him we're not going to put you down on the list, matey. So find your own way. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting and doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen. So we need to be really ruthless with it. And Romero,
you need suitors for these players. That's the problem. And given the last 2 seasons, I don't know how many people are going to want to come in. I mean, I'll say this much, right?
But hold on a second. We just bought a player that was relegated. So I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's about. I think there are always going to be suitors. It's about whether they want to go to the suitors that are available. That's the problem, because you can't make them do it, but you can persuade them by saying, "Well, you're not going down on the list, so you're going to be sitting, and you're going to basically not be fit. You're not going to be match sharp, and you're going to basically be the one that suffers for it, and you're not going to get to play football." So. That's your choice.
So what you think? Taking an old school approach, will be playing in the under 18s for the next under 21s for the next however long your contract is.
We literally, the thing is, we can't literally register all of them. So because we can't register them all. So something's got to give.
Well, but before we move on to another question, because I see Drew has put something up. For me, Tottenham rejecting 45 million from Newcastle for Bergvall is batshit crazy. Please tell me you both agree with that. Like what are we doing here? I mean, 100%, 45 million for Bergvall. We paid like 11 million for the guy.
Exactly.
He's regressed. He's not improved.
Exactly. And then I would have gone and got my goalkeeper with it. Or that goes significantly. Or I go and put that on, right, there you go, Osherman, there's your wages.
The thing about it is, though, is what if we rejected it because he also didn't want to go, but also what if we get more, then you're not going to be annoyed then, right? If we get 50 or 60 for him.
Yeah, but that's like poker, isn't it, there, in that aspect? If they think they can honestly significantly get more than 45 for him, then go for it. Yeah, but there's times in poker when you play it. I mean, I don't know how many people on there play it, and now I've played it semi-pro.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Basically, there's times where you sit there and you're like, do you know what? I'm willing to ride the game, and then you still know when to cut out when you need to. There's other times where you look at your cards and say baked potato at the start, and then there's other times where you hold on to it because you're very sure you've got a good set hand there, basically. Maybe they feel like that with Bergvall, then fine. If they think they can get 60, 70, 60 mil for Bergvall, then I say hold on to it. But me personally, offer me the 45 million, I'd have gone, thank you, come again.
I agree. That would be my selling point. We got offered 35 from Nottingham Forest. That's not too bad of a price, is it? But 45, when I saw that, I thought, there is no way we don't sell. And we didn't. It blew my mind. You know what? For me, what I would do with a Bergvall, right? I'd go to Bournemouth and I would say to them, we like the look of your Scott. How much would it cost us on top for Bergvall in exchange? Assuming Bergvall would go to Bournemouth. I don't see why he wouldn't. But for me, that's the sort of deal I'd be trying to do. I'd try to do a player plus cash swap for Scott. I think they'd possibly go for that. I mean, for some reason, Bergvall's highly rated amongst other people, other clubs.
We could go bigger. We could go to Forest and say, you want Bergvall, we want Morgan Gibbs White, mate. Let's go,
There's some-
Marinakis. Let's
I
do
think
the
that
ride.
ship's sailed, guys. I think that's done. I don't think he wants
yeah,
to do business.
I
with
think you
Tottenham.
could try that. Go and put 70 million on the table, and you can have Bergvall, who's got a club value of 50, 60 million, whatever it is, and that.
Mm.
Again, if you don't try, you don't get. You can at least try. That's the way I look at it with that one.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Ever so quickly, because I've been waiting in chat, and I am very, very sorry. Drooler, where are you? She's pointed out two players here, Ollie Watkins and Thiago. Now, I know opinion is split on Thiago. For me, I'd snap him up in a heartbeat. That guy's ability to finish is insane. I mean, he had a fantastic season last season. His ability to finish for me, just wow, unbelievable. Admittedly, you know, Dan Lister said, you know, his first touch is poor. He's right, but in front of goal, the guy is absolute mustard. Would you take either Watkins or Thiago at Spurs, or would that be a no for both?
I'd take either of them. I think they're both better than what we got. I mean, the problem is with Watkins, if we wanted him, I personally think we should have gone for him at the very start, because I think we could have got him if we wanted him, for the fact that Villa had no option but to sell. They had to sell up. Even though they're in the Champions League, whatever else, they are up big shit street with their overspending. And they've got something like, what is it, an 80, 90 million pound fine over it, on looking over him, basically. So if we'd have gone for him earlier at the start, if we did want him, I think we could have got him, because they would have rather sold him than Rodgers. Because if we'd have got him, I don't think they'd have had to sell Rodgers, basically. But I think that one's out the window now. That one's not going to happen, because I don't think Villa need to sell up any more than what they have.
No, that's fair enough. Mia, what about you? Would you take either one of those two?
Probably out of the two, I'll take Watkins. I think that Thiago is actually. Was it not him that's got most, like a lot of those are penalty goals? The goals that he had done. I'm sure that it was him that's there, because I've looked at so many players, my head's frazzled. But yeah, I'm not so sure about him, but I do think that I would probably take a bit more of a risk with Watkins. I think he's got what we need, and I think that he is proven. So yeah, he's the one I probably would take.
Yeah, no, look, listen, fair enough. I mean, each their own. Again, for me, I'd snap up Thiago in a heartbeat, but that's just my opinion. Well, look, what we'll do is we'll move on quickly to our defence. Now, I want to bring up a subject that might be a bit touchy for some. So, look, it looks to be that we've replaced Romero with Van Heck. In your opinions, is Van Heck an upgrade on Romero?
Massively.
Okay, go on, explain, elaborate.
He's a more consistent player. I don't think his passing's quite as good as Romero when Romero does do it, right? But he's more consistent with his passing. He's more consistent with his playing. He's better in the air. I just think he's more of a consistent, better player.
Sorry,
now,
Dan, can I just stop you there for a second, buddy? Correct me if I'm not mistaken, but didn't Van Heck just go into the stratosphere for line-breaking passes in the Premier League?
Either way, I think he's better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, fair enough. No, I just wanted to. Did you say you thought Romero was better at him than passing, or have I got that wrong?
Yes, I think Romero can do the better pass, but he just don't do it very often. I think Romero is one of the best passing defenders in the Premier League when he actually does do it.
Okay.
But he don't. And he slows the game down too much as well when he does do it, because he basically waits about too much. And he's very inconsistent as well, basically. And on his day, Romero is as good as 9 out of 10 people in that league all day long. But he just has lack of days, and he's got a bad attitude with it, and he's got to go. He's proven that he don't particularly give a fuck about the club. Terrible captain, one of the worst. And in that aspect, the sooner he goes, the better. And I think Van Heck is an upgrade on him, because I think you'll see more consistency out of him. I think there's certain parts where Romero is more gifted as such, but you don't see enough consistency with it. So overall, I think we have got the better player with Van Heck.
And it's not just that, Dan, is it? If you look at Van Heck over the past few seasons, he's got better and better and better and better. This is a guy that's on the up. This is a guy that's absolutely on the up. Mia, now, Mia, this is going to be a bit sensitive for you because I know you like Romero in more ways than one. Tell me, is Van Heck an upgrade on Romero?
Yeah, Van Heck is an upgrade. Aerially, he's not as good, but he's better carrying the ball as well. I think he is an overall better player. And like what Dan said, he's consistent as well with it, where Romero isn't consistent. I think Jules won as well. I think Romero's better at winning the ball back. But yeah, I think overall, when you look at them both, he is more well-rounded, Van Heck, and he's more consistent. So that means that he is a better player.
For sure.
I mean, especially with a defender as well. With a defender, you need to be on form every game, basically. Yeah, you need him. He's one of they're very important, basically. And even if you've got, say, a player that is a grade down from the other player, if you know you're at least going to get a 7 out of 10 of him game by game with the odd 8 and the odd 6, but mainly get a 7 out of him, I would rather have that than having a better player who gives me a 10, a 9, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 5, a 9, a 2, a 1, basically. I would rather have the player that might not be as gifted, but gives me more stability in that team, gives me more consistency. And Romero, I mean, you know what I think over Romero. I think he's the most overrated player there's ever been at Spurs, quite possibly.
He's very frustrating. He's very frustrating because the funny thing is, we're all saying here, right? This is where it gets me a little bit. We're all saying the same thing. The general consensus is the same. But out of curiosity, in a final, who would you pick, Romero or Van Heck? For me, it'd be Romero, which is really annoying because I know everything you guys have said on him is absolutely correct.
Well, after that World Cup final, I might think again.
To be fair,
but he has always been good in finals. He has always been good when it comes to the crunch on a final day. But you know what? I think that makes it even worse.
Go on.
I mean, obviously you want him to be good at a final, but I think that makes it even more worse by the player. Oh, what? You've turned up now because you want to turn up because it's a final. Me being quite stubborn like that and maybe with the wrong attitude, and this one probably wouldn't do no favours for my team. I'd probably keep him out of it because it is a fucking final. And I'd know he wants to play good in it. I'd probably have that attitude with him. And that would be a bit of a prickish attitude to have. I'm not denying it. It probably wouldn't do me no favours. But I can be just as much of a stubborn prick as anybody else out there, if not worse. And yeah, I think for that one, I'd say, yeah, do you know what? For the final, you always turn up, mate. You're always quality. Now fuck off and go sit on the subs bench if you're lucky. Because that he can't just want to turn up when it bloody chooses him. So the fact that he's always good in the final, I think that makes it even worse. Because it's obvious he only turns up when he thinks it looks good on him.
For sure. I mean, look, he's played 6 finals, and to his credit, he's won 3 of them, which I think is a crazy stat, by the way. But I won't lie, I kind of agree with Wayne here. Despite the things we've said about Romero, I do like the guy. I think he's a great defender. Dan, I agree with you. He's massively inconsistent, which is his biggest problem. But overall, I think he's a great defender. Look, he checked out at Spurs a while ago. That's understandable. Yes. But when Wayne says, I think Romero, when he goes, I think we'll miss him. I do think there will come a time that we probably will. I mean,
Wayne, I'm definitely going to miss him for sure. I like going to the stadium and seeing him.
Who are you going to pick next? You've got to have Spurs, man.
You still got your iPad, Mia. It don't matter.
Yeah, I can still follow. I follow him on Insta. It's all good. He was topless in his last lot of pictures. So,
is that true, Ronnie? Over 5 years, he's missed 40% of the games. Surely it can't be that high. Surely it can't.
Remember what the stat is over the 5 years. If I'm honest.
So, but either way, we're all.
When he has been gone, Ben, when he has been out, have we actually missed him? Have we actually been any better with him there?
I would say at times, yes.
Apart from the odd game. Apart from the odd game.
I'm going to stick with what I'm saying. I would say yes. I would say there has been plenty of times where I personally have felt that we've missed. I mean, again, but this is the fucking problem with Romero. Like, in one instance you slag the guy off, and the next instance you're like, yeah, but so he's a truly frustrating player. But look, in JP we trust. He's come to Spurs. He's 25. As I've said a minute ago, his trajectory, he's going up and up and up. I think it's a fantastic signing. It's great that Spurs have gone and got someone that is highly sought after, and just bang, slam the money down, taking the player. It's great. Another thing I like is he's going to be with his international partner. Now I know Van der Ven doesn't play centre back, but I just think, do you know what I'm hoping for? Right, I'm hoping for a second Belgian barrier. That's what I'm hoping for. If you remember, we had Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen. They were international teammates for years and years and years. I'm hoping we get something similar with Van der Ven and Van Heck. Aside from him, look, what I want to know is, do you think consistency with Van Heck will be there over Romero? Because as far as I can see at Brighton, he's been one of their most consistent players for years. So do you think that problem's going to go away now?
Why not?
And just to fact check, Romero missed between 32 and 35% of games over the 5 years.
You pissed her off now. I talk about my man. Jesus.
Just throw the facts, isn't it? And no, I do. Joe, what actually, Wayne, I actually do like that he's a bit of an old school defender. Like, he's all heart in it. Like, he will go in like a bit rough, like the old days. So I do quite like that he's a bit of that kind of defender. But of course, yes, he does look very nice in the suit, and in our black shirt, he looked very nice as well.
Yeah, and that's what we've got to base this on. If he looks good in the shirt, then we should absolutely pencil him in.
No, did I not just say he should go? I just said so many negative things about him. So, and I even said that Van Heck's better. So I'm not biased.
Okay. Danny Kiriaki give me shit on the phone. No, fair enough. Look, for me, and again, I'm pretty sure you guys are the same now. I'm happy that Van Heck has come in and replaced him. I think he's a wonderful replacement. And look, we should have those two at the back, Van der Ven and Van Heck, for the foreseeable future, right? It's got to be the next 3 or 4 years at the very least. So let's see where that takes us. I want to move into midfield quickly. So look, listen, you both know we've signed Fernandes and Tonali. I've got one question. They're both similar types of players, and that's caused problems in the past for certain teams with certain other players. I mean, for instance, and I know they weren't similar, but certain players can't play together. Do you think, moving into the Premier League, that Tonali and Fernandes are going to be able to do it? Do you think they'll be able to build that partnership? Do you think that the fact that they are so similar will cause a problem or won't cause a problem? How do you feel about that partnership, guys?
It's knowing what Tonali can do, what I've seen him do outside the Premier League. I can't see why not. If when he went to Newcastle, I don't think he's been able to live up to his potential. I think his potential was actually pushed on him a bit too high. I mean, in Italy, at Milan, they said they had very high hopes that he was the next Pirlo, basically. That's a very big name to live up to, in my opinion.
It is.
In my opinion, one of the most underrated midfielders there has ever been, in my opinion. Yeah. But that's what his potentials were, and the fans were saying it as well. And at Milan, I mean, biggest mistake Milan ever made was letting him go. But yeah, they played him totally different. They played him as more of a deep lying playmaker. Other thing with Tonali that people will notice is he's very, very good off the ball. If not, he's better off the ball than on the ball, if that makes any sense.
And he's quick, Dan. He's quick.
And that's not saying he's poor on the ball by any chance, yeah? He's very good at getting from pillar to post, basically, with a quick pass, back on the quick pass. He's very good at winning the ball back, pressing forward when he can, got short ball, direct ball, basically. And even if he gets up front, he's got a shot on him. Not that I think you'll see more than 7 goals out of him if you're lucky. But with the other side of it, like I say, he went to Newcastle. They played him as an anchor man. I think that held him back personally to his capabilities. Can he play with Fernandes? I don't know enough about Fernandes. People say, why not? I say, well, I'd had enough of fucking watching Spurs last year. Like hell did I want to have to sit there and watch West Ham as well? Why would I want to watch them pricks play football? Apart from when they play us. but I've only seen him play about 4 times, I think, so I can't really judge Fernandez that much. I know other people have told me he's absolute quality, he's excellent, whatever, but I can't make a fair assumption on it. But I think Tonali, you can play with pretty much any midfielder because he can play in several different ways, basically. You can actually have him pushing up.
Just quick, Dan, just to interrupt. Mia, have you got to jump off, sweetheart, yeah?
Yeah, no, because the dogs keep barking, so I have to keep muting, so I can't talk properly. Because the fireworks are going off and I've got the door open because it's really hot.
No, listen, bless your heart for coming on. I massively appreciate it. I've been a bag of nerves this entire stream. This is the first time we've gone live, so I really appreciate you coming on, Mia. Thank you very much. Listen, guys, make sure you go and subscribe to Tottenham's Lone Wolf. She's going live all the time, 5 days a week, and she's doing really, really well. Check her out. She's a bag of laughs. I love giving her shit. Mia, thank you so much.
No worries. Cheers for having me on. Speak to you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye. And then there were 2. Go on then, Danny. Continue what you're saying, mate. Sorry about that.
If we play him the right way, I mean, we could. He wouldn't be a player that I'd want to use as a 10, but he's a player you'd get a 10 more out of him than you would a Gallagher. As such, I'm not saying the 10 is his main position, but you can use him for that, and I think you'll get more out of him as a 10 than you will do as Gallagher. You can play him as an 8, you can play him as a 6. 6 and an 8 will be his best 2 positions. It'll be very good if we drop him back as the 6, use him as sort of like the ball winner and the deep line playmaker to make that connection with the number 8 or even the number 10 to then take it further from there. He's very good at covering basically the whole back line, getting from pillar to post basically again. I think he'd also be another good one that if we actually play Porro properly and not just use him as a right back where he's a total waste of a player, he's another one you could say can come back and cover that position if they don't press over. There's a lot you can do with Tonali. I can't see why he wouldn't work around any other midfielder, basically. I just don't know what Fernandez is like. And you tell me you do. I don't.
Mate, Fernandez for me is very close to the same level as Tonali, whether you like to hear that or not. I'll be dead serious. So when I look at a player like Tonali, I actually think similar to yourself, but I think he's actually better in an advanced role as well. So if I had to play them both a certain way, I'd have Fernandez slightly deeper, and there is a reason for it. Look, last season he was top 5s for tackles made, I think, if I'm not mistaken. His ability to play make from deep, Dan, is absolutely sensational. I've said this to you already. I'm telling you now, by the time the season's finished, you will be a massive fan of Fernandez. He's right up your street. Listen, he's everything you like in a player. He's tough tackling. He's no nonsense. And again, like I said, I cannot understate how good his deep line playmaking is. It's sublime. I would say probably better than Tonali. So when you speak to me about Tonali, I think of sharp, snappy passes, intelligent passes, 1-2s. So that's why for me, I would have someone like a Tonali slightly more advanced than him. But yeah, honestly, I'm excited about the pairing. I just hope they can do it in the Premier League because we've seen them once so far in pre-season.
I don't know enough about Fernandez to rate whether I'd have him forward or back as the player, basically. I just don't know enough about him.
Yeah, that's such a shame. I'm very excited about the season starting because when you do, you're going to get your eye full of him. Have you not caught any of him in pre-season so far at all?
I don't watch pre-season. Like I told you, I don't watch none of that.
Damn. No,
I mean, I might watch the odd thing about training or something like that, but it don't interest me. It just really doesn't. And when I know people like to sit there and watch the players do their training, then you got the others who, for whatever reason, like to watch the youth do their training. And I don't know, that just don't interest me. It really don't. The same as the friendlies, it just don't interest me. I'm more bothered about what happens on the pitch. Simple as that. If someone wants to sit there and watch the players train, fair enough. I've got no problem with it. For me, it's not something I do personally.
No, fair enough. Do you have Spurs play out of curiosity?
What's that?
Spurs play. Do you have Spurs play?
No.
That is a shame. Okay, no, fair enough. I was going to say I'd very much like you to go and watch that game where Tonali and Fernandez played together. They were bossing it. Oh my god, it was great. It was a great.
But again, it's a friendly, and friendlies, like I said, I think they're totally irrelevant when it comes to actually playing the game. Friendlies don't really prove you nothing.
That's fine. I understand that, but it still gives you a gauge of what players are about. Do you not think?
No, not really. I really don't. Because I've seen people big up players like Sarr last season and everything. Like, oh, he's going to be good now, all because he had a good couple of friendlies and then just felt a shit on the pitch, basically. Again, that's where I mean. I just think friendlies are pretty much irrelevant. They're there to play 60% of what you can do. Unless you're a young player that wants to go out there and prove a point, then you're going to go there and give it 110%. I can't have the ump with a player if he turns up on a friendly and only gives it 50%, because why do you want to give it 100% and then bust yourself for the season or whatever? So, yeah, friendlies to me, they're just irrelevant, pretty much.
No,
they're just another bit. They're just another bit of training, is the way I see it.
No, that's fair enough. Look, listen, I can't really argue with that. Before we wrap up, Wayne here has said, what about number 10? Now, Dan, I know you've got a problem with this position. He says, I think you're weak there. Danny, what do you think about our subject?
I think we do need a number 10. I don't trust Maddison as such with the injuries he's had. I mean, consistency, he does score in a season, he does settle up. But again, another patchy player. Look at when he first started playing for us. Him and Basuma were the best two midfielders in the league at the time. Not saying the best gifted, but they were playing the best together. And then I think it was after 12 games, it was like someone pushed him off a cliff, basically. And I just don't think Maddison, I think you need someone else there for that place as well. As the manager, I wouldn't want to rely on Maddison because I know there's a chance he is injury prone. He's brittle. We know that. So I think we definitely need a number 10 there as well, because Simmons, I don't think you're going to see much of him this season. By the time he does come back, it's going to take him a good month or two for the training, and then it's also going to take him time to get match fit. I don't think you'll see out of him until the last 5-10 games of the season, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, again, I'd personally quite happily get a number 10 in there. Again, like what was said earlier, Morgan Gibbs White, I would personally quite happily put 70 million down for him and give Bergvall, and he'd be my number 10 place over Maddison. Now, Maddison is a more technically gifted player, but again, I think Morgan Gibbs White is the better player overall. I think he's got more capability than Maddison overall on the pitch. What Maddison's good at, he's the dog's bollocks at it. But I think Morgan Gibbs White is an overall established better player on the pitch and can give you more to a game.
When you say that, Dan, are you saying at number 10?
Yes. Maddison can give you a moment. Yes, Maddison can give you a moment. Morgan Gibbs White can give you a regular game. I know those moments are important, but for me, overall as a player, I think you get more out of Morgan Gibbs White than you do out of Maddison. Maddison, for me, the other problem I've got with him, even though I think he's a brilliant player when he plays his game, he gets on my nerves a bit because I think he's a bit too much of a bitch. This is why I'm not too keen on him being captain either, because when him and Son were captain, he was nearly as bad as Son the way he just walked around the pitch when it weren't going our way. So I'm not too keen on Maddison being captain either. You know, just because he came on after his injury and looked very happy on the pitch, putting his chest out and whatever and that. Not much of it, but still, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sorry that don't make a captain for me. On his moment, I don't think there is many better playmakers out there anymore. He's an old school number 10 playmaker, which there is lack of in the world anymore. Yeah. Flair player. He has those moments. He's got that excellent pass on him. He can score a quality goal. He can take a good free kick. But then again, he's another one that can go missing for 80% of the game, 70% of the game. Not as bad as Brennan Johnson, but the same sort of thing. And he does get pushed about a bit easy. I know a number 10 is never a physically solid player as such, usually, not a playmaker.
Not usually.
But I think I would rather have Morgan Gibbs White as my number 10 over Maddison, because he can give me much more game by game than what Maddison can, and more consistently, I think.
No, listen, that's a fair point. I mean, when I look at Maddison, I look at his GO over the last however many years. I think it's safe to say he's definitely been one of the best number 10s in the league for the last sort of 5-6 years. His numbers are absolutely outstanding. But you are right, the guy is made of papier-mâché.
Yeah, check his numbers though. When people say it's like
I'm sure double figures nearly every season.
Yeah, but this is where GA can lie to you as well. Yeah, now having double figures in the season is all good. Don't get me wrong. But when it's 10 games on, 10 games off, it's like Son. Son used to always have a good GA by the end of the season, but he was a very patchy player. Now, people say Son wasn't patchy. Look at what he scored every season. Well, he was fucking patchy because he'd score 6 goals in 4 games, and then for 7 games, he wouldn't score a goal. But the difference is with Son, he was still established and you knew he was on the pitch. So his patchiness sort of stood out a bit. And we also had Kane who could bang the goals in at the time. But if you look at Son scoring, it was always good GA at the end of the season, but it was always in purple patches.
Yes, it
was. Maddison's exactly the same. So you can tell me that he's got a 15 GA in the season, this and that, or an 18. Fine, fair enough, great. But it's never well divided as such. It's always one patch there, one patch there, one patch there, with a gap of nothing in the middle, basically. Again, that's where I want consistency. That's where I think you get more out of Morgan Gibbs-White than you do out of Maddison as an overall player.
But I think Maverick players like Maddison, I think, to be honest, if you think about it, a lot of Maverick players they do tend to be patchy, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like, look,
I don't know about patchy,
but
lazy, I think, is the better word for it. A few of number 10s, old school number 10s, are usually quite lazy on a pitch. Just wander about until they get their moment. Now, if De Zerbi wants that number 10 there is just going to wander about and then put in that brilliant pass out of nowhere, then yeah, Maddison's your man.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think De Zerbi would want players more with a higher work rate as such. Maddison has not got a high work rate in any means or manner. No chance. Yeah, he has not. Kick him in the leg a couple of times as well, and then he'll drag his knuckles across the floor. He gets moody like that. That's what I mean.
Kick him in his legs? You mean blow on him too hard? Look,
you know
what concerns me...
I don't know about that one, mate. Not the best way to put it.
No.
But...
No, oh, shit. No. Hold on. Whoa. Oh,
no,
dear,
but on that one...
No,
but on that one, mate, I just think personally, Morgan Gibbs-White, you get more of as a player consistently.
Look, I understand your point, I do, but for me, for an out-and-out number 10, I personally would take Maddison. My concern with him, because I've watched all the preseason games, every one of them so far, and I'll tell you this: the way it's looking to shape up is, in terms of pressing, De Zerbi wants a number 10 to link up with the front man and press. I'm going to say this outright: Maddison won't last in this De Zerbi system if that's what he wants from him. And he's our only number 10 currently at the club. You could play Fernandez there, but then you're taken away from midfield. So for me, in all fairness, I think Wayne is right. We are short, we are light in that number 10 role. It's something that has become a problem, right?
I said that at the end of last season. Number 10 is another player I'd love us to get because I don't think Maddison is consistent. And also very injury prone. Same as like I said, I don't agree. I know a lot of people like it, each their own, whatever turns you on. But I don't really like Maddison as a captain. But then what other options have we got there? I personally have a couple there that I would pick over Maddison without thinking twice about it.
Well, do you know what? That's a really good subject, actually. I'm going to make this statement and then you follow through. There isn't a leader of men at Tottenham Hotspurs. Do you agree or disagree?
Disagree. There is blatantly. We just got one of them in for free.
And he had the captain's armband today, funny enough, when he came on, if that's who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, but is that okay to bring in a player? And again, tell me if I'm wrong here. Is it okay to bring in a player and make them captain straight away?
Why not?
Or vice captain, whatever it may be. You think that's okay, do you? You don't think that'll ruffle feathers in the squad?
No, I couldn't give a fuck. But I can only speak from my own opinion here. I'd say, right, you ain't been good enough captain this year, Romero, apart from the fact I don't want you here. But even if you're staying, I'm taking your captaincy. Well, I won't play then. Well, fuck off then. Simple as that, yeah? That would be my attitude. You haven't delivered as your captain job. I think he's good, but he's only just come here. Do I look like I give a fuck? If you want to play, you're going to play my way. We're going to do it this way, like the managers do, basically. He's my captain. Now, I think you get more out of Robertson as a captain or Tonali than you will ever get out of Maddison, personally. Maddison will have his moments. I know we don't see what goes on off the pitch. I think Son was an absolute terrible captain as well on the pitch. Off the pitch, he was meant to have been really good. But this is where I go to... but this is where it goes to the point of where...
I clicked on that without reading as well. Cheers, mate.
Yeah. I like a captain like a Roy Keane, basically. Now, the difference was with a Roy Keane, he delivered on and off the pitch. Now Romero had a few things... There you go. Now, Romero had a couple of things about him in his personality that I would have thought made him a good captain. Would have thought it would have. I would have thought with his bad attitude to an extent, he would have liked bossing about a few players on the pitch, basically, you know, who could swing the bigger one. I thought that would have actually suited him. It didn't. He didn't give a fuck. So, terrible captain. Maddison, like I say, when he gets kicked a couple of times or it's not going right, he basically walks around and drags his knuckles on the floor. When him and Son were both together on the pitch and that, they were terrible at times when we were losing and that. So, like I say, I'd have Tonali as a captain. I think he's got the mentality to do it. And that's not just because we've only just bought him and that. I think he's actually got the mentality, a captain's mentality to him. Robertson would probably be a good pick, but is he going to play consistently? I don't know. But if he's fit, I think he starts over anything we've got on the left. I think there's two people there that I would blatantly pick as a captain over the rest. And if you're planning on getting half the fellas out anyway, with more people in, who gives a fuck about whether the captain's been there 5 years or 5 minutes?
No, I agree on all of the above. It is a terrible seat. And again, I was gutted with Romero because I'm like yourself. Regardless of what you may think of Romero, I like his style. You know, that sort of breakneck style. I love that. It reminds me of a Roy Keane, and that's why I thought he'd be good at his job. But
he didn't show none of it.
But you know what? To be fair, I think he'd already signed out, though, Dan. When he was given the armband, I don't think he was really at Tottenham, in truth be told. But, you know, with Maddison being has that been confirmed? Is Maddison the captain now?
It's just what you hear a lot of. I don't know if he's the captain or not. It's just what you hear a lot of.
See, I don't mind.
I don't think it's been official. It's just not my first pick.
No, for sure. Do you know what? I love the guy's passion towards Spurs. I do. I think his mindset when it comes to Tottenham is he's brought into the Tottenham way. I love that. But that doesn't mean he's going to make a great captain. Like, for me, like yourself, I think of the Roy Keanes, the Patrick Vieiras. Like, I think of someone... Yes, exactly. Oh, my God.
Now, you can have a quiet... You can have a more quiet captain, yeah? You can have a more quiet captain. But then they have to talk with their game instead of their mouth, as such. And again,
Harry Kane, for instance.
Yeah, and even he's not captain material for me personally.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think Harry Kane's a captain sort of person anyway. But again, he does deliver on the pitch 9 times out of 10 until it comes to a final.
For sure.
Now, there's plenty of other players I can go over here. Pirlo, very quiet player on the pitch, but he delivered time by time. Was a good captain when he done the captaincy. Other players have been quiet. I mean, Steven Gerrard, best of both worlds with him, except maybe he wasn't so aggressive towards his teammates, but he let them know about themselves, and he also delivered on the pitch. John Terry, brilliant captain, delivered on the pitch and also had the front to tell his players about it, whether you like the prick or not.
Sure. No, I'm with you. I'm fully with you.
One of the best captains I've seen. I still think he's a brilliant player. Forget that he played at Arsenal. He played at my other club, Inter, so I'm allowed to like him. But for me, the all-time captain that I would love as a player and a captain, Roy Keane. I think he walks all over everybody. And you go and watch a lot of stuff, and that a lot of players who played with him said he's the best captain they've ever been around. He is the sort of person I want as a captain.
Yeah. He's the sort of player. He's the sort of person, the sort of player that will, when the times are tough, he will G that team up. And that's someone I'd love to see at Spurs. I'd love to see that type of player with that type of mentality that won't accept losing, that will pick his team up when he needs to, push people forward. It's just, you don't see it much anymore. I can't think of many captains throughout the known world today that are like that. So go on.
Maybe it's just where times have changed. Yeah, maybe it's just where times have changed. Just times have changed. Yeah, like what Carl's just said on there. Pearl was a class captain. Ugly motherfucker, but class captain.
Carlos Puyol, my God.
Yeah. Whereas you look at Sergio Ramos. Now that was what I would want as a captain. Basically, that is what I would want for a captain. But then times have changed. People are more. How do you want to put it? People are more woke these days, more sentiment, whatever you want to call it. People are softer in general these days. Can players these days handle the manager or the captain getting them up by the throat and saying, "Pull your finger out your ass before I slap you"? That is more what I would want off a captain. That is how I would want my captain to act towards me. I'm sorry, come and give me a kiss and cuddle on the cheek and tell me I can do better. He's not going to do me any favors. But that's just.
I want to be afraid of my captain. Is what I want.
You know what I mean?
Afraid of my captain. 100%.
I'm the sort of person. I'm the sort of person that acts better when you tell me about myself and give me that slap in the face and say, "Get your fucking act together." But maybe that's just old school times. Maybe that's just the leading a different life. I don't know. Whereas you notice with a lot of the players these days, they're very fragile mentally, if you want to put it like that.
How do you think Roy Keane would get on these days being a captain? I think you'd see players in tears on the pitch. It'd be terrible.
Yeah, people would have meltdowns about him. He'd get accused of being anything and everything. He'd get every phobic name put on him or whatever else. He just picks on me because of this or because he don't give a fuck and he'll tell anyone about himself. That is why I think he's a great captain. That's why I think he was a brilliant player. Because he actually delivered on the pitch as well. He didn't just go and do nasty tackles and everything else. The amount of times he used to win the ball, press it forward, good passing of the ball, and also get some goal. Underrated player again, in my opinion, but perfect captain for what I would want. Would he be perfect for modern day captain? I don't think so, because that's just where we're different in times. People are too soft these days in general.
Do you know what? Spurs fans are crying
Gen Z.
Please don't get me started on that shit. Do you know, Spurs fan now, I know you're not this guy's biggest fan, but a lot of Spurs fans are crying out for Pedro Porro to be captain. How do you feel about that? For me, I find that a bit strange.
I think he's got captain material in him.
Okay.
Because you get 100% out of him every game, whether it's good or not, you get 100% out of him. And I think the only problem would be with him being captain necessarily is you don't actually see him deliver on the pitch that often. But Spain have just proven it, basically, playing the right way as a wing back, and you've got a fucking good player there. Whereas we play him as a right back, and we don't play him to his advantages. That's why I said at the start of the window, sell him. I'd have sold him personally if we're only going to play him as a right back. But if we're going to use him to what he's good at, to what Spain played him as, have him sitting on the halfway half the time, so it's covered by the DM or the other free come back in, he was brilliant for Spain. So I think it's a good call. If we play him the right way, I think he has got the right mentalities. I think he'd have enough aggression in him. And if you let him deliver on the pitch as well, and it's obvious he does actually give a fuck as such. So I don't think that's a bad call either, if we play him the right way, because you don't want your captain having a crap game every game, basically.
Not particularly, no. Yeah, like you said earlier, you need to lead by example, right?
Yeah. So I don't think Porro's been good for about a season and a half by the odd game we're here.
I tend to agree. I know once upon a time I used to fight back against that, but listen, you've
playing the right way, and we have got a quality player there. We just don't play him the right fucking way.
He's just not a right back, is he? He is a wing back, and that is it.
Exactly.
Quite honestly, I'd rather play him at right wing than I would right back. I mean, that's saying something. But listen, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up there, Danny. Listen, I am eternally grateful you've come on tonight. It's been my first stream. I've been incredibly fucking nervous, mate. I'll tell you what, you've got to give these YouTubers some love, because this ain't an easy fucking game. Like, I know it's just clicking buttons and all that shit, but honestly, it's tough. It's tough. So listen, god damn, I'm definitely gonna have to get some practice at this, mate. It's a hard game. How you've been doing it for so long flawlessly, Dan, is very impressive. Very impressive.
I haven't. Not flawlessly at all.
Well,
I can't keep up with other people. I can't keep up with people. I've wanted to do more consistently again, where I've got the time to do it. But then the past 2 weeks have been chaos with everything that's gone on in private life. I just can't keep up with the amount of that word that other people, that I can't do the amount of context and the amount of things that other people can do. And I'm sorry, I just can't make my life revolve around bloody YouTube, basically. But if I could do more, I would. But yeah.
Well, listen, where can we find you? So you're at the Hotspur Hood. When are you going to be doing a show next, Danny? That's what people want to know.
I've been planning on doing them basically most of the week, but then, like, you know, I had a load of shit go on. So it's just, mate, I'm just going to stick to what I say and just do them when I do them. I just do the shows when I do them. I might do 3 in a week, and then I might not do nothing for 2 weeks. And a lot of that basically all comes to other things going on. So I just do them when I see fit.
Well, look, listen, regardless, my man, I appreciate you coming on. Massive thank you to Mia as well. Bless her heart. Always giving me shit in the chat. You know what I mean? You could have given me a break today, lady. But again, like I said, we are going to
Yeah, but come on, Matt. How can you give me a credit? She didn't even show her fucking face.
That's a really good point, actually.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I got to be careful because there's certain things I don't want to say because she's a bit of a sellout, but we're not going to go down there. And I know she's watching. All right, no, bless Mia, bless Mia, she's great. Yeah, we're going to wrap it.
Next thing you know, Ben, there's your door.
Bomb straight in the face. Sorry, Mia. Fucking hell, it terrifies me, little pocket rocket. But yeah, like I say, guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll go again another time. Hopefully next time I won't be so goddamn nervous. Honestly, it's harder than it looks. But for those of you that stuck around, thank you very much. And we will speak again very soon. Take care.